No, it is really Holden. You did it to me again. The secret about Claire's baby is going to hurt Kyle badly. The truth does not come out in Genoa City without making a scene. It does not sneak into the room. Say please. It happens suddenly at the time in front of the people you do not want to know, and it leaves very bad memories. For Kyle Abbott, the truth about Claire's baby is not just very sad. It is completely devastating. The truth about Claire's baby is going to destroy Kyle. Kyle had always thought that no matter how tough things got with Claire, he could count on one thing. The past was behind them. The past was behind Kyle and Claire. They had made mistakes. They had picked each other after that. Kyle and Claire had chosen each other afterward. Their relationship with each other, which sometimes felt like it might break, was built on telling the truth. Kyle and Claire's relationship was built on honesty now. That belief dies the second he hears the name Holden. The moment the name Holden is mentioned, that belief is gone. The name Holden is all it takes to make that belief disappear. When he hears the name Holden, it is like everything else just fades away. That belief is finished. The name Holden is what does it. That is what kills that belief. The calm before the collapse. The Abbott mansion is really quiet that afternoon. Jack is not there because he is at Jabbo. Diane is at the office too. Kyle is home by himself when Claire gets there. Her face is pale. Her hands are shaking a little as she shuts the door behind her. Kyle sees this away. The Abbott mansion is still really quiet. Kyle is home alone, with Claire now. The man always notices. He is always paying attention to things. The man always notices what is going on around him. He says hey to her in a quiet voice and takes a step closer. What is wrong with her? Claire makes herself smile. It does not look real because it does not get to her eyes. She says we need to talk to the person she's with. Claire wants to have a conversation with this person, so she says we need to talk in a tone. Claire is talking about something and she wants to make sure the other person listens to what Claire has to say. Those 4 words really got to Kyle. You see, in Genoa City, when someone says we need to talk, it is never about things like what to eat for dinner or where to go on the weekend. It is about something, like someone doing something bad to you, secrets coming out and things happening that will change your life for good. Kyle points to the couch. Says okay, let us talk about this. Claire sits down. Puts her hands together in her lap. She looks at her hands like they are not really hers. She opens her mouth to say something, closes it again. The silence is very quiet. It feels like it is pressing down on her. Claire just sits there staring at her hands. The silence keeps going on and on, feeling heavy and hard to breathe. Kyle is trying to make things a little better. He says you are really scaring me. Kyle thinks that the person is being really scary, so Kyle says you are scaring Kyle. She looks up at last. Kyle sees something new in her eyes. A feeling of giving up. He has never seen this look in her eyes before. It is a kind of resignation that Kyle does not know how to deal with. The look in her eyes is really something Kyle has not seen before. This resignation is very clear. Kyle, I am going to have a baby. The words hit Kyle hard, but he did not completely fall apart. Kyle lets out a breath and runs his hand through his hair. He feels shocked. At the same time, he feels a little bit of hope. The words land hard on Kyle. He is still trying to process them. Kyle thinks about what he heard and he feels a spark of hope. The news is not entirely bad for Kyle. He says pregnant again. He looks at Claire. Asks why she did not tell him about this before now. He wants to know why Claire waited long to tell him that she is pregnant. Tears start to fill her eyes. She says because that is not the part of the whole thing. The worst part is something else. Tears are really welling up in her eyes now. Kyle freezes. Please do not make me say it. Claire's voice is shaking now. She says I did not tell you because I did not know how to tell you. I was not sure if I could handle it if you looked at me in a way after you found out. Kyle leans forward. You can see the worry on his face. Claire, we will figure out whatever it is and we will do it together. Claire and we will deal with it. She laughs in a sad way. That is what I was afraid you would say. Kyle's heart starts beating fast. He asks, what are you talking about? Claire gets up fast and starts walking around the room. She says to Kyle, I made a mistake, Kyle. I did something with the situation and now it is impossible for me to fix it, Kyle. Kyle gets up slowly. He says, is the baby really not the baby of Kyle? The question is just sitting there like a noise that stops everything. It is like someone fired a gun. Now everyone is waiting to see what happens next. The question hangs in the air like a gunshot. Claire stops walking forth. Her back is to him. She closes her eyes really tight. Kyle, I really do not want to say it, so please do not make me tell you what the thing is that I have to say. Kyle? Kyle's voice becomes really tough. He says, who is the father of the baby? The woman turns around. Finally she says it. The person on the end of the line said it is Holden. No, it is really Holden. Kyle looks at her without looking. He thinks to himself that he must have heard her wrong. Kyle really thinks he did not hear her correctly. He is staring at her, waiting for her to say something. Kyle is looking at her, trying to understand what she just said. What? Claire's voice breaks. She says the baby, it is Holden's baby. Kyle shakes his head slow. He just cannot believe it. No, he says. No, that is not possible, Kyle says again, still trying to understand what he just heard about the situation with Kyle. Claire says this quietly, I wish that were true. Kyle laughs, it is an hollow sound. Holden? You really think I will believe that? After all the things he did, after all the things Kyle knows he put Holden through. It happened one time, Claire says with tears in her eyes. One time, Kyle. I felt alone. I was so mad. You were not paying attention to me. He was right there telling me what I wanted to hear. I felt bad about what I did the second it happened. I am talking about what happened between me and him, Kyle. It was a mistake. I hated myself for it. Kyle's eyes are burning with anger. He says to me, you did not hate yourself enough to be honest with me and tell me the truth. She got really upset. Said I was scared. She thought she could just forget about it. It would not be a problem. The thing is, she thought it would never matter. The secret she was keeping, the secret would never matter. Kyle's jaw gets really tight. He says, you really thought you could lie to Kyle forever. I thought I was doing what was best for you, that I was keeping you safe from harm, that my actions would help you in the run, and I really believed that I was protecting you. He laughs at this idea. You did not care about keeping me safe. You only cared about keeping yourself safe. Flashbacks of betrayal. Kyle starts walking forth, now memories of Holden hitting him all at once. He thinks about Holden's smiles. He remembers Holden's charm. Kyle also thinks about how Claire seemed torn when people mentioned Holden's name. The memories of Holden just keep coming to him. Kyle ignored all the warning signs that were right in front of him. The warning signs were pretty clear. Kyle did not pay attention to them. He just went ahead. Did what he wanted to do, even though the warning signs were trying to tell him something. The warning signs were important. Kyle should have listened to them, but he did not, and that is what happened with the warning signs. Kyle says this to me in a voice, but I can tell he is really angry. He looks right at me. Says, you looked me in the eye and told me I was the only man you loved. Claire says, I do love you, and she starts crying. Kyle spins around. Do not say that. Love does not lie like this. She reaches for Kyle, she is really desperate. Kyle, please. He takes a step back fast. Do not touch the man, he. Rather do not touch me. That really hurts the woman more than someone saying something mean to her could. So that is it, she asks. You are just walking away from the situation, from the problem, from the people, from everything, she. You are just going to leave like that without looking back, without saying anything else, without doing anything to fix things, just walking away from the mess you made. Kyle's eyes are shiny. The way he talks is really firm. You already gave up when you decided to sleep with him. The truth about our DNA is finally coming out. The DNA truth is something that a lot of people have been waiting for. Now we get to see what the DNA truth really is. The DNA truth is going to change everything we thought we knew about our DNA. When the DNA truth comes out, it will be very interesting to see how people react to it. We will all get to learn more about our DNA and the DNA truth that is there. Kyle wants to see some evidence. Claire says okay to a DNA test. She is hoping that something amazing will happen. She knows it probably will not. Kyle and Claire are waiting to see what the DNA test will show about Kyle and Claire. Days go by and then the results finally arrive. The results of the thing we were waiting for arrive after days. Kyle opens the envelope and his hands are shaking badly. He is really nervous about what he's going to find inside the envelope. The envelope is open now. Kyle is looking at what is inside. The thing that is inside the envelope is making Kyle feel very anxious. Kyle is still holding the envelope. He is looking at it again. Probability of paternity. Holden Novak, 99.9%. Kyle drops the paper like it is on fire. He does not want to touch the paper. The paper is really bothering Kyle. He says this is real. He whispers it again that this thing is really real. Claire nods silently. She has tears streaming down her face. These tears just keep coming. It is really sad to see Claire like this. Claire is very upset. The tears on her face show just how sad she is. Claire is. It is a very sad moment for Claire. Kyle looks up at her. You can see how sad he is. You did not just cheat on me, he says. You made plans for our life together that were not true. Jack and Diane get pulled into something. They are in a situation now. Jack and Diane have to deal with this thing that has pulled them in. Jack and Diane are going to have to figure out what to do about it. Jack and Diane do not know what is going on. When Jack finds out, he gets really mad. It is not just because of Claire. Jack is furious with the situation and also at Claire. Jack says to Kyle, you knew that Holden was going to be trouble. You should have stayed away from Holden and the other person too. Kyle suddenly loses his temper. Do not dare try to blame me for what's happening, Kyle says. He is really upset. Does not want anyone to point a finger at him at Kyle. Diane is trying to calm things down. She wants Kyle to think about the baby. But that idea does not work out well. All it actually makes things worse. The baby is really the concern for Diane, and she wishes Kyle would think about the baby and how this is affecting them. Kyle says that the child is not his problem. The child is not something he has to deal with. The same thing goes for Claire. Claire is not his responsibility anymore. Claire hears something that really upsets her. It totally destroys the amount of hope that Claire had, the little bit that Claire was holding on to. Holden says that the people he thinks of as his family are very important to him. He really believes in the idea of a family. Holden claims his family is a deal to him. The family that Holden is talking about is the people he cares about. Things are already pretty bad. Then Holden shows up, which makes everything even worse, and I am talking about Holden because Holden is the one who shows up. Uninvited. Unapologetic. Holden says with a smile on his face, so I hear I am going to be a father. Kyle jumps at him. His anger is really getting out of control now. Jack just manages to stop Kyle from hitting him. Kyle tells him to stay from her. He means it. He wants him to stay away from all of them, including her. Holden smirks. You do not get to make that decision. The woman is carrying my child. Claire does not look well. She appears to be unwell. Claire is really not looking good all. Claire looks like she is sick. That is the moment when Kyle realizes the horror of the situation with the problem that Kyle is in, and Kyle thinks that the situation is really bad for Kyle. He did not just lose Claire. He lost the person he really cared about, which is Claire. This is a deal to him because Claire was very important. He lost the woman he loves to the one man he really cannot stand. The man he hates the most in this world is the one who took her away from him. You did it to me again. You really betrayed me. I feel like you betrayed me. The thing that hurts the most is that you betrayed me. Kyle talks to Claire one more time. He wants to say something to Claire. Kyle really needs to speak with Claire. He tells me this in a voice. You did not just hurt me, he says. You broke every promise that we made to each other. The worst thing you did. You let yourself down. Claire breaks down. Starts crying. She says, I never meant to hurt you, over and over. Claire is really upset. She keeps saying that she did not mean to hurt the person she is talking to. Claire says, I never meant to hurt you, and she is crying a lot. Kyle nods slowly. You did do that. The thing is, some damage just does not heal. He walks away from her. Now she is all by herself. She is pregnant. She has to think about what is going to happen next. Her future is connected to Holden forever. That is a pretty big deal for her. She has to deal with the fact that her life is tied to Holden's life, and that is something she cannot change. The aftermath. Kyle is really putting all of his time and energy into his work. He does not want to feel anything now. Kyle does not trust people like he used to. For Kyle, love is something that can hurt him. Claire has to deal with what happens when she makes decisions. She has to raise a kid with a man she does not really love. The problem is she knows she lost the person who really loved her. Claire is aware that she lost the one person who genuinely loved her. And Holden? The person is already thinking about what he will do. He is already planning his move. In Genoa City, secrets do not just ruin relationships, they can completely tear them apart. The people of Genoa City know that secrets about the residents of Genoa City can be bad news for everyone in Genoa City. Secrets in Genoa City can cause a lot of trouble for the people who live in Genoa City. They create monsters. The storm breaks. The Abbott mansion felt really cold. The feeling of being betrayed was burning inside. Kyle went to his study, slammed the door shut. It was so loud that it made the old pictures of his family members shake on the walls. Kyle's mind was all mixed up with anger and sadness. He could not believe what happened with Claire. Every time they laughed together, everything they did for each other, every promise they made. It all felt like a big lie now. The memories of Claire just made him feel worse. He thought about Claire and all the bad feelings came back. The Abbott mansion was cold. Kyle's heart felt even colder when he thought about Claire. He sat down in his chair, just stared at the desk. The desk was not going to give him any answers. The envelope that he was holding told him everything he needed to know. It was all crumpled up in his hand. The thing that it said was very clear. Holden Novak was the father of Claire's child. He could not stop thinking about this. Holden Novak was the father of Claire's child. The truth was very clear. The DNA results did not tell a lie. The pain of being hurt did not tell a lie either. The fact that someone was betrayed was not a mistake. It was something that was done on purpose by that person. The betrayal was real. It was done to hurt someone. Outside the window, the wind started to blow hard, making the leaves hit the glass. Kyle felt like the whole world was laughing at him, showing him how crazy everything was and how he could not do anything about it. He did not just lose Claire when they were being passionate, she completely broke the trust he had in her. What made it even worse was that she was now with the man Kyle hated the most, the man Kyle hated more than anyone else, the man who was now with Claire. Holden's arrival. Holden did not waste any time at all. The evening he showed up at the Abbott estate without telling them he was coming. He had an annoying smile on his face and he acted like the Abbott estate already belonged to him, like he already owned the place. Holden said that people should say congratulations to someone and he did it in a calm way. He walked into the living room like he owned the place, like he had been living there forever. Kyle's fists were clenched tight. He asked the person, "What are you doing here at Kyle's place?" "I came to see my family," Holden said. He looked around in a casual way like the word family meant something big. "You know, I wanted to see my kid and your ex-fiancé, my family, and all that stuff." Kyle's patience finally gave out. "The kid you are talking about is not even born yet, you call that a future child," he said. "That baby is a mistake. And you are not part of this family, you are someone who is taking advantage of us, a person who is always causing trouble." Holden. It was a really scary sound. This sound made Kyle grind his teeth. He said, "You call me a parasite?" "No, Kyle, that is not right. I am an improvement. I am the one who will give Claire's child what it needs. A dad, not someone who feels sorry for himself all the time. I am the upgrade that Claire's child deserves, a father figure, not someone like Kyle who is stuck in his own problems." Kyle lunged forward. Jack and Diane stepped in and grabbed him. He was really upset. His chest was moving up and down as he tried to calm down. "You do not get to say that," Kyle said angrily. "You do not get to come into my life and tell me what to do." Claire chose Kyle. At least Kyle thought she did. Kyle is really confused now because he thought Claire cared about him. Holden's eyes got a little softer. It was not because he felt bad. He said, "She did not pick you, Kyle. She picked something that felt safe even if it was scary and unsure. I told her what would happen. I always do what I say I will do. I gave her something that made sense." The confrontation. Later, after Holden left, Kyle talked to Claire by herself. Claire was sitting in the nursery in a rocking chair. Her hands were on her belly. The room was really quiet. It had blue and yellow decorations. These colors now seemed mean to Kyle. The nursery was supposed to be a place For Claire and her baby. Now it just felt weird. Kyle, please, Claire whispered, tears streaming down her face.